Overheard my parents planning to tell me the truth at dinner, and the moment I realised it, I dropped the glass. I was 26 years old, and I had just come home early from work because I forgot my laptop charger. I walked into the house quietly expecting an empty kitchen, but I heard my parents talking in low voices from the dining room. My mom said, "We should tell him tonight before it comes out another way." My dad replied, "Not at dinner, he might not handle it well." I froze behind the hallway wall because I had never heard them talk like that about me. I leaned closer and heard my mom, "He deserves to know about his real family." Me stomach dropped. I backed away silently and went outside, pretending I had just arrived normally. My hands were shaking so badly I couldn't even unlock my phone. I had grown up in a normal suburban home in Ohio. My parents were loving, stable and predictable. My dad was a school mechanic and my mom worked at a pharmacy. I had a younger sister in what I thought was a completely ordinary life, but in that moment everything felt wrong. I kept thinking about all the strange things from my childhood. My birth certificate always looked slightly different from my sister's, like how my mom never liked talking about my newborn photos, like how every time I asked about extended family she would change the subject. I told myself I was being paranoid, but now I knew something was coming. That night I could not sleep. I kept replaying their words over and over again. Real family, I deserve to know. I finally decided I would confront them before they could control the story. Their next evening they called me to dinner, and I walked in expecting tension, but instead they were both mealing too calmly. My mom had even cooked my favourite meal. My dad kept glancing at her like they were waiting for a signal. He sat down and my heart was pounding. Then my mom said, "We need to talk." My father immediately reached across the table and placed a folded envelope in front of me. He said, "It is time you know the truth." My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a hospital record with my name on it, but a different birth date and a different city listed. I looked up confused and my mom started crying. She said, "You were adopted at birth, but we never told you because we were afraid of Lo." Seeing it felt my entire body go cold. They explained they had adopted Meth through a private agency after years of infertility. They said my biological mother was very young and unable to care for me and that she signed papers shortly after I was born. It should have felt relief, but something still felt off because I remembered overhearing them say, "Real family note adoption." My dad noticed my face and hesitated, then he pulled out a second envelope. My stomach dropped again. Inside was a letter from a woman I had never seen before. The letter said, "He never agreed to this ad option. I was forced to sign under pressure and I have been trying to find my son for 25 years. My vision blurred." My mom immediately said, "That is not true. She abandoned you willingly." But my dad stayed silent for a long time. Then he finally admitted that there had been a legal dispute after my birth. My biological mother tried to reverse the adoption, but lost the case because she didn't have stable housing or income. I felt like the room was spinning. Then I noticed something at the bottom of the letter, a phone number written in fresh ink. My mom quickly tried to grab, but pulled away. I called it there in front of them. A woman answered, crying before I even spoke. She said, "My son, I have been waiting for this call for 25 years. My mother started screaming that I was being manipulated and my father told her to stop. The woman on the phone told me things only someone who knew me since birth would know. My birthmark, my first name choice, my hospital nickname." I turned to my parents and asked why they lied about planning to tell me. My dad looked devastated and said, "Because we were afraid you would choose her." I walked out of the house. Seth that night met my biological mother 2 weeks later. She did not look like a stranger. She looked like someone I had seen in old dreams. She showed me photos, hospital bracelets and letters she had written every year on my birthday. My adoptive parents were later forced to admit they had intercepted some of those letters for years, trying to protect what they called my stability. Last month I had dinner with both families at the same table for the first time. It was awkward and emotional and nobody knew what to say until my biological mother looked at my adoptive pa. Ensign said, "Thank you for raising him, but you cannot erase him from his story." And in that moment I realised the truth was not just something I overheard at dinner. It was something that had been waiting my whole life for the courage to finally be spoken. Would you confront your parents right away or wait and listen to the full truth first?